Long before the gleaming skyscrapers pierced the clouds, Dubai was a humble but vital hub of trade. Imagine, if you will, a time thousands of years ago, when its shores were a meeting point for people from distant lands. Fishermen and pearl divers lived by the rhythm of the tides, while merchants guided their camels across the vast, sandy landscapes. The creek, a natural harbor, was the heart of this activity, a bustling artery connecting the desert to the sea. Here, goods from Mesopotamia, Persia, and the Indus Valley were exchanged. This wasn't just a trade of spices, textiles, and pearls, it was also a trade of ideas, cultures, and most importantly, money. The story of Dubai's coins begins not with its own mint, but with the clatter of foreign currency in its ancient marketplaces. In these early days, there was no single official currency. The concept of a Dubai coin did not yet exist. Instead, the merchants who gathered in the souks used the coins they brought with them from their homelands. It was honestly a true melting pot of metal money. Imagine reaching into your pouch and pulling out a silver coin stamped with a Greek hero, or a bronze piece bearing the profile of a Roman emperor. These weren't just tools for buying and selling, they were tiny pieces of history, artifacts from powerful empires that held sway over vast territories. The value of these coins was determined not just by their official stamp, but by the purity and weight of the metal they were made from, a universal language understood by traders of all backgrounds. The most influential coins of this era often came from the powerful empires that neighbored the Arabian Gulf. The silver drachms of the Sasanian Empire, centered in Persia, were a common sight. These coins were beautifully crafted, often showing the bust of a king wearing an elaborate crown on one side, and a Zoroastrian fire altar on the other. Similarly, Roman coins, with their detailed portraits of emperors and gods, found their way into the region through extensive trade networks that stretched across deserts and seas. The presence of these diverse currencies tells us that ancient Dubai was already well connected to the wider world, a small but significant player in the grand theater of international commerce, long before it became the global metropolis we know today. This system of using foreign currency worked because trade was based on trust and the intrinsic value of precious metals. A merchant from India could easily trade with someone from the Levant because a silver coin was still a silver coin, regardless of the face stamped upon it. Archaeologists have unearthed these ancient coins in the region, providing physical proof of these old trade routes. Each coin is a silent witness to a transaction that took place centuries ago, a handshake between people from different worlds. This period laid the foundation for Dubai's future as a center of trade, establishing a legacy of openness and connection that would define its character for millennia to come. The arrival of Islam in the 7th century brought about a profound transformation across the Arabian Peninsula, and this change was reflected in the very coins people used. As Islamic empires expanded, they established their own monetary systems, creating a new standard for currency across their vast domains. This was a pivotal moment in the history of money in the region. The new rulers introduced the gold dinar and the silver dirham, coins that would dominate trade in the Islamic world for centuries. These were not just pieces of metal for commerce. They were powerful symbols of a new faith and a new political order. The designs of the old Persian and Byzantine coins, with their portraits of kings and religious symbols, were replaced with something entirely different. The new Islamic coins were unique because they almost never featured images of people or animals. Instead, they were covered in elegant Arabic script. These inscriptions were the most important feature of the coins. They typically included verses from the Quran, such as the Shahada, the declaration of faith. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. The coins also stated the name of the ruling caliph, the year the coin was minted, and the city where it was made. This made each coin a mini proclamation, a carrier of religious and political messages that circulated far and wide. For the people using them, these coins were a constant reminder of their faith and their connection to the wider Islamic community, or Ummah. Dubai, situated along a vital maritime trade route, quickly saw these new coins enter its markets. The Islamic dirham, based on the weight standard of the old Sasanian drachm, became a common currency. Its consistent weight and purity made it a reliable and trusted medium of exchange. Merchants traveling between the Islamic heartlands, India, and East Africa would have carried these dirhams with them, using them to trade for pearls, spices, and other valuable goods in the ports of the Gulf. The inscriptions on the coins, though perhaps not readable by everyone, represented the authority of the caliph and the economic stability of the empire, which fostered confidence and encouraged trade to flourish even further. The influence of Islamic coinage was long-lasting and deep. The very name of the modern UAE currency, the dirham, is a direct link back to these ancient silver coins. This period cemented the importance of currency not just as an economic tool, but as an expression of identity and sovereignty. The move away from pictorial representations to calligraphic inscriptions was a significant artistic and cultural statement. For the first time, the money circulating in Dubai carried a message that was directly tied to the dominant culture and faith of the region, setting a precedent for how currency would be designed and understood for generations to come, a tradition that continues to this day. As the centuries passed, Dubai's position as a trading hub grew stronger, but it remained under the influence of various regional and global powers. With the decline of the central authority of the Abbasid Caliphate, the region saw a fragmentation of power. This was reflected in the coinage. While the Islamic dirham and dinar remained in use, coins from smaller local dynasties and neighboring empires also began to circulate. Then, a new chapter in the region's history began with the arrival of European powers. In the 16th century, Portuguese ships, armed with cannons, sailed into the Arabian Gulf, seeking to control the lucrative spice trade routes to India and the Far East. Their presence introduced yet another layer to the complex monetary landscape of Dubai. The Portuguese did not just bring soldiers and ships, they brought their own money. Coins like the silver seraphim, minted in their colony of Goa in India, started to appear in the souks of Dubai and other coastal towns. Alongside these, coins from Persia, under the Safavid dynasty, and the powerful Ottoman Empire also circulated freely. For a local merchant, a typical day might involve transactions using several different types of currency. They would have to be skilled at evaluating the worth of each coin, not by its face value, but by its weight and the purity of its metal. This era was a testament to Dubai's ability to adapt, its markets acting as a financial clearinghouse where currencies from east and west were exchanged daily. One of the most famous and widely accepted coins during this period was the Maria Theresa thaler. This large silver coin was first minted in Austria in 1741, bearing the portrait of Empress Maria Theresa. Although it was from a distant European empire, it became incredibly popular throughout the Middle East and parts of Africa. Its popularity was due to its consistent silver content and its familiar, trusted design. In fact, it was so trusted that merchants continued to demand it for decades, and the Austrian mint continued to produce it, with the original date of 1780, long after the empress had passed away. For many in Dubai, the Maria Theresa thaler was the de facto dollar of its day, a stable and reliable currency in a world of many different coins. This period highlights a key aspect of Dubai's economic history: its pragmatism. The people of Dubai did not insist on a single official currency. Instead, they accepted any coin that was reliable and held its value. The marketplace was the ultimate authority, and it favored currencies that were stable and widely recognized. This created an environment of incredible monetary diversity. A pouch of coins might contain money from Venice, India, Persia, and Austria, all used together to conduct business. This long history of handling diverse international currencies prepared Dubai for its future role as a global financial center, fostering a deep-rooted understanding of cross-border trade and finance. By the 19th century, a new power began to dominate the Arabian Gulf, Great Britain. The British were primarily interested in securing their trade routes to India, which had become the jewel in the crown of their empire. To protect their maritime interests and suppress piracy, they signed a series of treaties with the local rulers of the coastal sheikdoms, including Dubai. This political and military alliance also had a major economic impact. As the ties between the Gulf and British India grew stronger, the Indian rupee, the currency of British India, gradually became the primary currency for trade and daily life in Dubai and the surrounding Trucial states, as they were then known. The adoption of the Indian rupee was a natural and practical choice. Trade between Dubai and India was booming. Merchants from Dubai sailed on dhows to the ports of Mumbai and Karachi, bringing pearls and dried fish and returning with textiles, rice, and timber. Using the same currency simplified these transactions immensely. there was no longer a need to constantly weigh and evaluate different types of silver coins. The rupee provided a stable and widely accepted monetary standard backed by the economic might of the British Empire. For the better part of a century, the clinking of Indian rupees bearing the portraits of British monarchs like Queen Victoria and King George was the everyday sound of commerce in Dubai's busy souks. This reliance on the rupee worked well for a long time. However, in the mid-20th century, a problem emerged. India, now an independent nation, began to face challenges with gold smuggling. Large quantities of gold were being smuggled into India from the Gulf, where gold was cheaper. This illegal trade was often financed using Indian rupees, which were then taken out of the Gulf and back into India. To stop this drain on its foreign currency reserves, the Reserve Bank of India decided to create a special currency just for use in the Gulf region. In 1959, they introduced the Gulf rupee. It looked almost identical to the Indian rupee, but it was a different color and could not be legally exchanged in India. The Gulf rupee was adopted by Dubai and the other sheikdoms, replacing the regular Indian rupee. For a few years, this new system seemed to solve the problem. However, the story of the rupee's reign was coming to an end. In 1966, the Indian government devalued its currency. Because the Gulf rupee was tied to the Indian rupee, its value also dropped sharply overnight. This sudden loss of wealth was a major shock to the merchants and people of the Gulf. It was a harsh lesson in the dangers of relying on a foreign country's currency. The rulers of the region realized they needed to take control of their own monetary destiny. The era of the rupee was over, and the search for a new currency had begun. The sudden devaluation of the Gulf rupee in 1966, created a currency crisis across the Trucial states. People's savings were slashed, and confidence in the monetary system was, completely shattered. The rulers of the sheikdoms knew they had to act quickly to restore stability. In the immediate aftermath, most of the sheikdoms, including Abu Dhabi, temporarily adopted the Saudi riyal as an emergency measure. Dubai, however, sought a different solution. Its leader, Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum, a visionary with a keen understanding of finance, wanted a more permanent and modern currency that would reflect Dubai's growing ambition as a commercial hub. He found a partner in the neighboring state of Qatar. Qatar and Dubai shared similar economic outlooks, both heavily reliant on trade and commerce. Recognizing their common interests, they decided to form a monetary union. This was a logical step, creating a larger economic area with a single stable currency. In 1966, the Qatar and Dubai Currency Board was established, and a new currency was introduced, the Qatar and Dubai Riyal. This was a historic moment for Dubai. For the first time, it had a currency that bore its own name. It was a clear declaration of economic independence and a step away from the financial systems of foreign powers that had dominated its past. The new Riyal was pegged to the British pound sterling, providing a sense of stability. The Qatar and Dubai Riyal was a modern currency, with both banknotes and coins. The coins were issued in denominations of 1, 5, 10, 25, and 50 dirhams, with 100 dirhams making up 1 Riyal, a naming convention that would later prove significant. The designs of the coins were simple yet symbolic. The obverse side featured a graceful gazelle, an animal native to the region, which represented the natural heritage of the desert. The reverse side displayed the value in Arabic script, encircled by the names Qatar and Dubai, in both Arabic and English. This bilingual text was a nod to the international nature of business in the Gulf, a practical feature that made the currency accessible to the many foreign workers and merchants in the region. This currency union, however, was destined to be short-lived. It was a marriage of convenience, born out of a crisis, and as the political landscape of the Gulf began to shift, the arrangement came to an end. The sheikdoms of the Trucial states were moving towards forming a federation, the United Arab Emirates. In 1971, the UAE was officially founded, with Dubai as a key member. Qatar, meanwhile, chose to become a fully independent nation, with Qatar and Dubai now on separate political paths. Their monetary union was dissolved in 1973. Although the Qatar and Dubai Riyal was only in circulation for about 7 years, it was a crucial stepping stone. It gave Dubai valuable experience in managing its own currency and paved the way for the next and most important chapter in its monetary history. On December 2, 1971, a new nation was born, the United Arab Emirates. This historic federation brought together 6 of the 7 Trucial states, with Ras Al Khaimah joining a few months later. While the country was now politically united, it was still using different currencies. Abu Dhabi was using the Bahraini dinar, while Dubai and the Northern Emirates were still using the Qatar and Dubai rial. To truly unify the nation and strengthen its new federal identity, a single national currency was essential. The leaders of the new country moved quickly to establish a central monetary authority. In 1973, the UAE Currency Board was created, and it was tasked with a monumental job: to introduce the country's very own money. This new currency was named the UAE Dirham, a name that consciously echoed the silver dirhams that had circulated in the region during the golden age of Islamic trade. This choice of name was a powerful link to the region's rich history and heritage. On May 19, 1973, the UAE Dirham was officially introduced, replacing both the Bahraini dinar and the Qatar and Dubai rial at a 1-to-1 exchange rate. For a brief period, the old currencies circulated alongside the new one to ensure a smooth transition. This was a moment of immense national pride. The new dirham banknotes and coins were tangible symbols of the UAE's sovereignty, unity, and its aspirations for the future. The new coins were introduced in denominations that are still familiar to us today: 1, 5, 10, 25, and 50 fils, and the iconic 1 dirham coin. The designs chosen for these coins were carefully selected to represent the culture and environment of the newly formed nation. The smaller denominations, the 1, 5, and 10 fils coins, featured symbols of the country's natural resources and traditional livelihood. The 1 fils showed palm trees, the 5 fils a fish, and the 10 fils a dhow, representing agriculture, fishing, and trade, the pillars of the old economy. These designs paid homage to the country's past and the resources that had sustained its people for centuries. The higher value coins celebrated the emblems of the modern unified state. The 25 fils coin featured a graceful sand gazelle, a symbol of the desert wildlife, while the 50 fils coin depicted 3 oil derricks, representing the newfound oil wealth that was beginning to transform the nation and fund its ambitious development plans. But a special place was reserved for the 1 dirham coin. It was given a unique design, a dala, a traditional Arabic coffee pot. This object is a powerful symbol of Emirati hospitality and generosity, a core value in the nation's culture. The dala on the 1 dirham coin was a message to the world that even as the UAE modernized, it would hold on to its cherished traditions of welcoming others. Beyond the standard coins used for everyday purchases, the UAE has a rich tradition of issuing special commemorative coins. These coins are not meant for general circulation, but are minted to mark significant national events, celebrate important anniversaries, or honor the country's achievements. They are miniature works of art, crafted from precious metals like gold and silver, and serve as lasting memorials of a particular moment in the nation's journey. The UAE Central Bank, which replaced the Currency Board in 1980, has released a vast array of these special coins over the decades. Each one tells a story, capturing a piece of the UAE's history and sharing it with the world. These commemorative coins cover a wide range of themes. Many celebrate National Day, the anniversary of the founding of the UAE. For example, a special coin might be issued for the 25th National Day or the 40th Spirit of the Union anniversary, often featuring the official logo of the celebration. Other coins mark the accession of a new ruler or pay tribute to the nation's founding father, the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. These coins act as a way to honor the leadership that has guided the country's remarkable development. They are highly sought after by collectors both within the UAE and internationally, prized for their beauty, their rarity, and the historical significance they represent. Events of local importance in Dubai are also frequently celebrated with their own special coins. The opening of a landmark project, like the Burj Khalifa, the Dubai Metro, or the Palm Jumeirah, is often an occasion for a commemorative issue. These coins celebrate the Emirates' ambition, innovation, and its ability to turn incredible visions into reality. Sporting events, such as the Dubai World Cup horse race and major international conferences hosted in the city, have also been immortalized on gold and silver. These coins function as sophisticated souvenirs, showcasing Dubai's status as a global hub for business, tourism, and major events, and broadcasting its successes to a global audience. The issuance of these coins is more than just a collector's hobby, it is a form of public diplomacy. when a special coin is minted to celebrate a new university, a conservation program for the Arabian Oryx, or the launch of a satellite, it raises awareness about these achievements. It is a way for the nation to document its progress in fields ranging from education and environmental protection to science and technology. These beautifully crafted pieces of metal become ambassadors for the UAE, telling a story of a dynamic and forward-thinking nation that values its heritage while relentlessly pursuing progress. They are, in essence, historical records stamped in gold and silver for future generations to admire. Today, the UAE dirham remains the stable and trusted currency of the nation. The coins in circulation, the 25 files, 50 fils, and 1 dirham, are the ones most commonly used for small, everyday transactions. You might use them to buy a bottle of water from a small grocery store, pay for a karak chai, or leave a small tip. The 1, 5, and 10 fils coins are still legal tender, but they are rarely seen in circulation anymore. Prices in shops are usually rounded to the nearest 25 files, so these smaller coins have largely fallen out of practical use. The 1 dirham coin, with its iconic Dala design, remains the workhorse of the UAE's coinage, instantly recognizable to every resident and visitor. However, the way people in Dubai and the rest of the UAE handle money is undergoing a rapid and dramatic change. We are living in an era of digital transformation, and finance is at the forefront of this shift. The use of physical cash, both banknotes and coins, is declining as people increasingly embrace the convenience of digital payments. Tapping a credit or debit card, using a smartphone app, or scanning a QR code has become the preferred method of payment for everything from grocery shopping and dining out to paying for taxis and utility bills. This move towards a cashless society is being actively encouraged by the government and financial institutions to improve efficiency and security. This shift has been accelerated by the widespread availability of high-speed internet and the near-universal adoption of smartphones. Digital wallets from tech giants and local banks are now a part of daily life. You can transfer money to a friend, pay for parking, and order food online without ever touching a physical coin or banknote. This trend is visible everywhere in Dubai, from the high-end malls of downtown to the traditional souks in Dirham, where many vendors now accept digital payments alongside cash. The UAE Central Bank is also exploring the future of money, including the potential development of a central bank digital currency, which would be a digital version of the dirham. Despite the unstoppable rise of digital payments, the physical coins of the UAE dirham are not going to disappear overnight. They still play a role, especially for smaller transactions, in certain communities, and for visitors who may not have access to local payment apps. More importantly, the coins remain powerful symbols of the nation's identity and history. The Dala, the oil derricks, and the Dhow are not just designs on pieces of metal, they are emblems of the UAE's journey. Even as we swipe, tap, and scan our way through a digital future, these coins in our pockets are a physical reminder of the country's heritage, its unity, and the incredible transformation it has undergone in just a few short decades. The journey of Dubai's currency is a mirror that reflects the story of Dubai itself. It's a tale of transformation from a small, pearl-diving settlement to a dazzling global metropolis. In the beginning, the presence of Greek, Roman, and Persian coins in its ancient markets spoke of its early role as a crossroads, a place where different worlds met to trade. This period established Dubai's fundamental character: open, connected, and pragmatic. It learned early on to deal with the currencies of the world, a skill that would prove invaluable. The coins were not just for buying goods, they were a physical manifestation of Dubai's connection to the great empires and trade networks of the ancient world. The arrival of Islamic coinage marked a shift, aligning the region with a new cultural and economic sphere. The calligraphic dinars and dirhams were symbols of faith and a unified economic system, and their circulation reinforced Dubai's identity as part of the wider Islamic world. Later, the influx of Portuguese, Ottoman, and British-backed currencies, especially the Indian rupee, tells a story of a region navigating the currents of global empires. The eventual failure of the Gulf rupee was a critical turning point. It was a painful but necessary lesson that underscored the importance of monetary independence, pushing Dubai and its neighbors to take control of their own economic destiny. The creation of the Qatar and Dubai Rial, and finally the UAE dirham, were acts of sovereignty. These were not just new currencies, they were declarations of nationhood. The designs chosen for the UAE Dirham coins, the dhow, the palm trees, the oil derricks, and the dollar, were a carefully crafted narrative. They told a story of a nation that honored its traditional roots in fishing and trade, acknowledged the oil wealth that fueled its modern growth, and above all, cherished its cultural values of hospitality. The dirham became a symbol of unity, a common thread binding the 7 Emirates together into a single, cohesive nation with a shared vision for the future. Today, as Dubai continues to evolve, so does its relationship with money. The move towards a digital, cashless society is just the latest chapter in this long and fascinating story. Yet, even as physical coins become less common in daily transactions, their legacy endures. They are artifacts of history, tangible links to the past that chart the Emirates' incredible journey. From a marketplace of foreign silver to an issuer of its own globally respected currency, the story of coins in Dubai is a powerful testament to its resilience, its ambition, and its remarkable rise on the world stage. It is a history forged and minted in metal.